Are you over 40 and been wanting to have a YouTube channel, but you're afraid of being on camera? Oh, I totally get it. I was just like you. I let the fear of being on camera hold me back for many, many years. You see, I kept telling myself, I'll start my YouTube channel. I'll be on camera when I lose weight. Except for I never lost the weight. And so I never went on camera. And I lost years and years of opportunity of not being on YouTube simply because I was concerned about being overweight and being on camera. I was also worried about getting older. I see a lot of young people crushing it on YouTube. And as I like to say, the famous quote, comparison is the thief of joy, I compared myself to these people and I was worried about being older. But the truth is, if you're over 40, you have a lot of life experience that you've gained and a lot of knowledge and things that you've done. And that can be a great benefit on YouTube. But I know we get all up in our head about the way we look and we don't like the sound of our voice. And the truth is just because we're not used to it. When it sounds differently in our head than it sounds when we play it back. I remember when I first started shooting video and I thought, why do I sound like my cousin? That's not what I sound like inside my head. And then I was like, oh, wait a minute. I like my cousin. She doesn't sound weird. So who cares if I sound like my cousin? She sounds fine. So then I just had to decide to get over it. The truth is that is the way that you sound. That's what we hear. That's what all the people around you hear. And we like you. We like it. The sound of your voice doesn't bother us. So it shouldn't bother you either. It's just that you're not used to it. This is something that you will get used to over time. You know, as far as me being overweight, I was letting that hold me back. But the truth is it's really not about the way that I look. It's about the information I provide. When I went on YouTube and I saw other people who were overweight or other people who were older, I noticed they're doing YouTube. So why shouldn't I do YouTube too? Why am I letting it bother me when it's not bothering them? And by the way, their channels are successful, so it's not hurting them. The truth is that you just have to be who you are. I've worked with a lot of real estate agents and a lot of mortgage professionals, and this is very, very common that it takes a long time for them to get used to seeing themselves on camera. But the truth is that they have so much knowledge to provide. There's just no better way to build a personal brand than on video. See, all those quirks, all those things that you don't like about yourself are probably the actual things that are drawing people towards you. People want to connect with people that are like them or that are very authentic and real to who they are. So I want to give you permission to just be you and to not worry about those quirky things that bother you because they don't bother other people. We know you, we like you. And so when you get on camera, you are going to find your people who need to hear from you. You're going to find them on YouTube. So let's talk about imposter syndrome, though, for a minute, because I know that is another big thing that holds people back. I was recently watching a channel with a woman who was giving some information on the housing market and the stock market and doing some financial analysis. And I looked at her bio because I wanted to learn more about her. And she literally had nothing in her bio about what her credentials were or why she was qualified to speak on this subject. And it was perplexing to me. I dug around a little bit and I found out that she has published a book. But when I went to her other social media channels, I kind of started stalking her a little bit. I still could not find anything about her background, nothing about what would qualify her to do the analysis regarding the housing market and the stock market. And a lot of it was just opinion-based, but let me tell you what, she is getting the views by the tens of the thousands, and she has thousands and thousands and thousands of followers. And I couldn't find a video, like an intro video or anything kind of giving anything about her background. And yet people were interested in hearing what she had to say. Now, I'm not exactly sure that's a good thing, to be honest with you. I don't know. For me, I personally like to have a little bit of understanding about somebody's credentials. But I just wanted to point that story out to you because maybe you don't have to be the ultimate number one expert to provide information, to provide knowledge, to provide opinions on subject in order to be on YouTube and to be providing value to an audience. Clearly, it's working for her. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't share your background. I actually think you should share your background. But I'm just using that as an example that you can get on there and you can have an opinion. The thing I recommend the most is just to be honest with people about where you're at. Where are you at? If you're a couple steps ahead of somebody in a process, you can be clear. You can say, hey, I'm not the expert. This is what I'm learning as I go. For example, I've been producing video for a decade behind the scenes on YouTube, but really this is the first time I fully committed to having my own channel, to being consistent with content and getting in front of the camera. So I just let y'all know that's where I'm at. So it's kind of a journey that we're on together. The truth is that even if you're speaking on the same subject that somebody else has, and maybe they're even an expert, you might have a different opinion. For example, I recently produced a video about how to create thumbnails. Now, there is a million videos out there about how to create thumbnails. It seems like everybody's got a video about how to produce a thumbnail in Canva. And I've seen these really in-depth videos about how to create thumbnails like Mr. Beast in Photoshop, which, by the way, there's like a million steps. It's way too involved for me. I have a very specific, unique way that I create thumbnails. It's not for everybody. And the video didn't even really perform that well, but I'm glad I created that video because it gives somebody a different perspective. I'm not just doing the same video about creating a thumbnail in Canva like everybody else does. My process for creating thumbnails is completely unique. So I want to share that. I want to have that part of my video library. When somebody asks me, how do you do your thumbnail? I've got that video. Maybe it's something that it'll grow over time or will really help somebody to see my process. And I've noticed on tech reviews when it comes to equipment. Recently, for Kelly Zitlow, as you may recall, I manage her YouTube channels. She purchased a high-end wireless microphone, and I needed to know how to do the settings. I wanted to see the whole unboxing. I wanted to get the best practices. And you know what? In order to fully understand this microphone, I watched like 6 or 7 different YouTube videos from different YouTubers because I wanted to get different perspectives. I wanted to get different tips. I wanted to see where the gaps were. Some people were very good at explaining certain aspects of it in terms of the settings. And then some people just glossed over that. Even if you're making a video where there are many other videos on the same topic, I think it's still a value for you to create your video because you may explain it in a way that makes more sense to somebody than somebody else explains it. You might add something that somebody else forgot. And like I said, when I'm looking at tech, I'm watching multiple videos. And I'm also looking for videos that are the most current videos. A lot of times, especially on software, these videos get outdated very quickly because versions are always being updated. So when I'm looking at software videos, I'm looking at the date because I want to know that, make sure they're on the same version that I am. So I wanted to let you know, you don't have to be worried about imposter syndrome. You just have to be yourself. You have to produce the content that you think is going to be of value to your audience, the things that you're passionate about, the things that you know about, the things that you want to share. You've got to have that burning desire inside of you to share the information. And I think sharing stories really helps. Nobody has your stories. So that is one thing that makes you unique and special, not just about the way you look or you talk or you act, but also the way that you deliver the information and the stories that you have to go along with it. And again, I cannot stress enough, if you are over 40, then you probably have more stories than other people, more things that people can relate to. And so you should share those stories. People are interested in your specific stories and the information that you have to provide. I honestly don't know anyone that didn't feel this way in the beginning. I don't know anybody who just turned the camera on and they were perfect and they liked themselves and they did a great job. It takes a while to get used to. You got to put in the reps. Honestly, for me, I'm still figuring it out. I'm still getting used to me. I'm still getting used to who I am on camera. I mean, I'm myself, but it's just a strange thing to get used to. And I know that over time, the more that you do it, the more you'll get used to it, and you can be of service and value to your audience. So I hope you got something out of this video today. If you did, drop me a comment and let me know that you feel what I'm talking about. And if you've been thinking about having a channel, this is your moment. I just want to encourage you. You can do this. We like you. We like the way you look. We like the way you sound. You can do this.